After my parents passed away, there was a part of my life that was left empty, void. There was a big hole in my heart. And of course, nothing would fill that except for my parents, a part of that. And the Lord does fill the holes in our heart, but we still have them there. And when you lose loved ones, you know, the pain of that is always there. Yes, it does get better with time, but it's always there. I'm an orphan. You know, mom and dad are not here. And highly sensitive personality trait that I have, and being the baby of the family and being adopted, I was babied a lot. And yes, I'm an older woman, but I still long for that time where I can be with my parents. Then I navigated a lot of things that not everybody goes through. And if you have a blended family, or you have, you know, a different family dynamics where you have other people in your life, another father or another mother or another sister or brother, you know, all of these things can be very challenging because we are all different people, and yet we do hold the same DNA. And so I was really going through a lot. So many feelings came out of my life over that time that I didn't even know I had. You know, feelings of sadness. When you lose a loved one, you have a lot of feelings. You have sadness. You're scared. You're angry. You question a lot of things. And I had all of these things wrapped up in one. I learned the value of truly letting go. That took quite an act of faith for me. I wanted the answers to every question I've always had ever since I was a little girl. Oh, and I had a lot of them. I expected an answer for this, and this, and this, and this. And I wanted the answers the way I wanted them to be. I'm sure all of you have gone through that in something in your life where you're looking for an answer, but you want your answer. And you don't want the answer that was given to you. Oh, that's not the answer. We need to find a better answer. And so as I got some answers in my life, they weren't the answers that I wanted. It wasn't what I wanted to hear. I found out in my life there were things that were very traumatic to me. I was digging around in places to find information that I shouldn't have been doing. Because when I found my answers, they were harder than the questions that I was seeking. We all think to ourselves, when we get the answer to what we were looking for, then that will be complete. But in my case, my answer led me to more questions, and the answer was worse than the question. So what I'm trying to say is, sometimes in life, it's better not knowing everything. Sometimes in life, it's better not digging around and searching for answers. Because when you find them, it may be not what you want to hear. And so I went through this path that took me about a year, maybe a little less, to just navigate the feelings that I was going through in a lot of things in my life, not just one. I was hit with a lot of things at one time. Isn't that how it is in life though? You don't just have one situation. It's like you have one compounding with another, compounding with another, compounding with another. And it's like you suffocate and you feel like you can't breathe. So you got to work through the one situation, and then you work through the other one, and you work through the other one. So as I was working with the death of my parents and going through that, I was working with things of my childhood and things of being a baby, and I was working through that. And then I was working through my health and menopause and working through all of that. And at the end of the day, I learned the value of letting go. letting go to the answers that I wanted, letting go to the questions that I had, letting go to the hurts, to the feelings of rejection, letting go of all of it. I have truly, after all these years, let a lot of things go. And when I let it go, truly let it go. So sometimes people would say, let it go. Oh, sure, I let it go, but I didn't. But when I truly learned to let it go, a peace came upon me like I've never had before. I was able to give forgiveness to people. I was able to forgive myself most of all. And I was able to just focus on ahead and not look behind. I did that. My anxiety started to lower. My peace became higher. And I learned more about myself than I ever did before. So why am I sharing this with all of you? Because in doing so, I'm trying to share with you, if I can do it, you can too. It's no longer that we're saying, well, what was done was acceptable, you know. It's saying that through all of it, we have learned to love ourselves enough to give ourselves that freedom to have peace in our own lives. Some of you sitting today, listening to me, have gone through trauma like I would have never been able to understand. Some of you have gone through trauma that you can't comprehend. It's not an easy thing to let go. But I'm telling you that when you learn to let go, you have a peace that just passes all understanding, and you're able to move on with your life. I was stuck. I was really, really stuck because I kept replaying over and over and over again the answers that were given to me. And then I wanted to analyze them and say, well, this answer, and try to work through the answers to try to make them make sense to me, because it just couldn't make sense. Just so much couldn't make sense to me. Well, how could you do this? Or how couldn't you do that? Or why did this? Why do I feel this way? But when I stopped focusing on me and my trying to figure everything out, and I just let it go, it was so transforming to me. I have a whole new life. That's my story. That's where I was at. That's where I become. I am not the person I was. I am reborn. I am motivated. And I have peace. Peace that money can't buy. So, when I work through all of these issues in my life, the answers, the questions of my health, of my birth, of my parents, of the finances, of decisions that were made that I had no choice in all areas of my life, not just one. I realized that I do have a big choice in my life. And that is how I deal with all the choices that I couldn't control. I can control how I feel about them. And I can control the choices that I make. I make them. And how do I want to live the rest of my life? My life is half over. That's a scary thought for me, because I enjoy life and I realize that my life is half over. More than that. More than half over. I can't do nothing with all the things that people have done and the decisions that people made on my behalf, whether they were done in the right way or in the wrong way. You know, I can't change people's choices or decisions and everything in my life, but I can mine. And wow, it was so freeing. I got that power. because I got the power to decide how I want my life to be and the choices that I make. To some of you, this conversation would make absolutely no sense. You would be like, you're just beating around the bush. But to other people who are sensitive in nature would say, oh my word, you just hit the nail on the head. Because in life, there are things that are going to happen to us that we cannot control. But we can control how we are affected by them. And I allowed 53 years of people's choices to affect me. Why? But now I got the years ahead, and I can think about that. In the world that we live in, everybody's out to control one another. Control the way they think, control what they say, control how they feel. Everything is controlled by other people. But this girl isn't going to allow that anymore, because I've learned to listen to my inner soul. And I've given all the forgiveness to everyone that ever had done anything against me, even if they did it yesterday. I give all the love and all the support and all the thankfulness. And I learned to walk away and say, for the first time, it's truly letting go. There's some food for thought for some of you. And my life is just now very much a peaceful one. And finding that it's okay to just be me.